guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to be doing the January 2023 choices for Book of the Month. And if you have not been to my channel before, I do a lot of book content, makeup content, and a few little other things sprinkled in. Sometimes we cook, we just have a good time here. So if you enjoy those types of things, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you don't know what Book of the Month is, it is a book subscription service where you get one hardcover book a month for the price of $16.95, and you can add on 2 additional books for the same price. But there are perks to Book of the Month, and if you become a friend of Book of the Month, that means you have to be with the company for 3 months. Your add-on book go down in price to $10.99, and you get to shop in the Book of the Month store. They have more book selection, and then when you become a BFF, that's once you're with the company for a whole year, you get even more perks. Right now, I am a friend of Book of the Month. I've been with Book of the Month since July of 2022, and I've enjoyed every book I've read so this month we have 7 books to choose from, and our first book is a literary fiction, which I do not read very often. My favorite types of books are romance, mysteries. Those are my 2 favorites, and I've just recently, over this past year, gotten into thrillers. So this book is called Age of Vice. It's a debut book by D.T. Kapoor. I apologize if I said the name wrong. The quick take of this book is, in this grand Indian tale, part crime story, part family saga, everyone is at risk from the corrupting gravity of greed. So I'm thinking money plays a huge part in this book, which sounds interesting to me because you all have probably heard the saying before, money is the root to all evil. The good to knows about this book is it's 400 plus pages, it's a non-linear timeline, it's international, and it's glamour. So if you like anything that has to do with crime, this might be a book for you. If you're looking to learn more about India and the Indian culture, this might also be a book for you. And if you like a long book, this is a book for you. The synopsis of this book says, "This is the age of vice, where money, pleasure, and power are everything, and the family ties that bind can also kill." That's a very interesting statement to me. So I'm wondering, did this family get into a big fight over money? Were they always wealthy, or were they one of those families that started off poor, came into some money, and now they don't know what to do with themselves? The New Delhi, 3 a.m., a speed Mercedes jumped the curb in the blink of an eye. 5 people are dead. It's a rich man's car, but when the dust settles, there is no rich man at all, just a shell-shocked servant who cannot explain the strange series of events that led to the crime, nor can he foresee the dark drama that is about to unfold. Definitely shifting through the times and perspectives in contemporary India. Age of Vice is an epic action-packed story propelled by the seductive wealth and starting corruption and bloodthirsty violence of the Wadia family, loved by some, loathed by others, feared by all. In the shadows of this lavish estate, extravagant parties, perpetuatory business deals, and calculated politic influence, 3 lives have become dangerously unwithered. Ajay is the watchful servant born into poverty who raises through the family ranks. Sonny is a playboy heir who dreams of outshining his father, whatever the cost. And Nita is the curious journalist caught between morality and desire against a sweeping pile, a fool by loss, pleasure, greed, yearning, violence, and revenge. Will these characters connect? Will these characters connection become a path to escape or the trigger to further destruction? Okay, well, sound like all these people have issues with the guy. I'm gonna call him the father in this case, because the servant, he had to work his way from the bottom to be in the father's good graces. Sounds like the son, he don't like his father for whatever reason, but he's also a play. Maybe his father makes him hard so he can earn his inheritance, and he just feels as though I'm always been a rich child, so why are you trying to treat me any different now? And Nita, she's a journalist, and journalists are always looking for the next big scoop. So I have a lot of questions about this family as a whole. Our second book is a romance. This was my choice for the month. Y'all know I can't stay away from the romance. So this romance is called Lunar Love. By looking at this cover, I would think this love story takes place around Chinese New Year, and I think this is a beautiful cover. I like the flowers, I like the orange, pinks, and the blues together. So the cover intrigued me on its own. This book is written by Lauren Kong Jensen. It's a debut. So what debuts mean is probably the author's either first book they've ever written or first time being a part of Book of the Month. So the quick take for this book: while helping clients achieve #relationship goals, two matchmakers learn the most amazing love story may be their own. Ooh, I'm already intrigued. And I'll tell you why. Because I always wonder, do matchmakers actually work? And why would somebody choose to have somebody set them up? And how is it that the two matchmakers that are supposed to be setting up other people, how did they end up falling in love with each other themselves? So that's what I'm intrigued by. The good to knows for this book is LOL, Tech World. So this has a lot to do with computers. Maybe the matchmakers have never met and they've only spoken over a computer. That's a possibility. Foodie. Maybe they go out on a lot of client interviews and they do a lot of their client interviews at a restaurant. These are just my guesses. And enemies to lovers. I would think the two matchmakers are rivals. They have rival companies. One thinks they're better than the other. And the little why I love it, as I'm skimming through this, the first thing that catches my eye that Carol Hanu says, "You'll never look at the moon the same way again," or a cocktail bun, or a Swiss roll for that matter. I think that's interesting that she picked out these certain foods that she probably doesn't look at the same after reading this book. And she's also the author of a book that's on Book of the Month, and it's called The Fortunes of Jade Women. The synopsis of this book: always a matchmaker, never a match. So are they trying to say the matchmaker can find how to make people fall in love, but they can't fall in love themselves? Interesting. Olivia Hung Christensen is excited / terrified to be taking over her grandmother's matchmaking business. But when she learns that a new dating app has made her Popo traditional Chinese zodiac approach all about animal attraction, her emotions are screwed more towards furious / outrage, especially when LA's most eligible bachelor, Brent O'Brien, is behind the app. that could destroy her family's legacy. Liv knows better than to fall for any guy, let alone an interferingly handsome one who believes that traditions are meant to be broken. As the two businesses go head to head, Bennett and Liv make a deal. They'll find matches for each other, and whoever falls in love loses. But Liv is dealing with someone who already adept at stealing business ideas. So what's stopping him from stealing her heart too? This is a story about tradition versus modern ways and modern technology. I think there's a way to compromise holding on to tradition, but also learning how to deal and live in modern times. And everybody knows a little bit about astrological signs, zodiac. We might don't understand it all, but we all try to find out sometimes what signs we are compatible with. Now, I don't know too much about the Chinese zodiac, but I think this book is a good way to learn. Book number 3 is a thriller. It is called What Lies in the Woods. It's by Katie Alice Marshall. I like the pink on this cover, and I have been getting into thrillers lately. I am currently reading my book from December from Book of the Month, which is called All Dangerous Things. That book review will be out as soon as I finish the book. The quick take from this book is hunted by a killer, lies from their youth. A group of friends begin to unravel when one member starts asking questions. The good to know is female friendship, creepy, royal, and a whodunit. So this is kind of like a thriller and a mystery altogether, which is quite nice. I like trying to solve whodunit. The Why I Love It is written by Alice Sweeney. She is an author. She has a book on Book of the Month called Daisy in the Dark. The synopsis. So the synopsis is basically telling you that there are 3 girls who survived an attack, who testifies to put the person they believe who done it away. And the reason why I'm saying the synopsis like that is because for this book there is a content warning. I'm going to highlight the content warning for you because these are words I believe I cannot say on this platform. So I'm going to highlight this one for you so you can see it as I put my mouse over. So basically, to put this person away, they have to find out the truth of what really happened that night, because it seems like the 3 women all have a different story or present a different story about what happened, but in particularly this girl named Naomi, she is the one that is willing to put everything on the line to find out what really happened in the woods that night. No matter how dangerous it is, she just wants to know the truth. And if you are curious, even though there is a content warning, Book of the Month lets you preview a few pages. So if you're really worried about the content warning and about how much you can handle, I would suggest checking out the preview where you can get the first pages of the book just to see if it's something that would be too triggering for you. You might can find that out by reading the first couple of pages. But I am intrigued by this book. I'm going to actually add this to my TBR to pick up at a later date. So on Book of the Month, you can click this little arrow thing to mark it as to your TBR, which if you don't know what TBR stands for, it stands for to be read. So if you ever want to know about any other books you want to read, all you have to click on is your TBR list. Like each month I come in and save books that I want to read in the future that I'm just not picking up right then and there, so I can find them easily later. Now, if you want to see what that TBR list looks like right now, I will show you that in a later video down the line. So our fourth book is Queens of Thieves. It's a historical fiction. It's by Busy Marsh. I don't read a lot of historical fiction, but I feel like this book cover is classic. Like, it reminds me of the high society women back in the day that always wore like long gloves. That's what this book cover reminds me of, and I'm intrigued that the book cover says there only can be one. So is there a mystery involved in this? Like, is somebody trying to boot somebody out of the high society club so they can be the queen of the club or something like that? That's the vibes I'm getting from the book cover. The quick take from this book says post-World War II London might look like a boys' club, but in reality, a shadowy gang of females thrive to run these streets. Okay, I'm already intrigued. So, the men have been number one in the world, and now the women have come to run the world and take over. I'm already intrigued. It's giving me Who Run the World Girls, if you know the Beyonce song I'm talking about. The good to know is multiple viewpoints, feminist, action-packed, and real-life characters. Y'all know I love a multiple viewpoint book because I like reading the book from one person's perspective and then the next chapter is the other character's perspective. It also makes the books more fun and give it a great tone, because you can be in a situation as somebody else, but y'all don't see the same situation the same way because y'all are two different people. So I always find that intriguing. So according to the Why I Love It, this book starts in the year 1946. The synopsis, it says London, 1946. London is a city I've always wanted to visit, by the way, just to check out the fashion and all of those things. London, 1946. The city struggles to rebuild itself after the devastation of the Blitz. Food is rationed, good jobs are scarce, and even the most honest families are forced to take a bit of cook to just survive. Alice Diamond, the queen of the thieves, ruled over her all-female gang with a bejeweled fit. Her hosters are expert shoplifters. So what type of stuff are they shoplifting? Are they just shoplifting for food to survive? Are they shoplifting jewelry, clothes? What's the deal? And how are they expert shoplifters and how have they never gotten caught is my next question. The scourgers of London, upscale boutiques and department stores, their lucrative business of stealing and fancying luxury goods always carries the threat of violence. Alice packs a razor and has always been known to use her heavy rows of diamonds like brass knuckles. And so y'all stealing diamonds and y'all stealing the fashion. So what type of designers are you stealing from? I wonder if there's anybody good. And like, if everything's so scarce, how do these people believe that y'all can afford these luxury items if everybody's struggling and trying to rebuild from the devastation? Question number 2. Young Neil is a teenager from the slums, hiding a secret pregnancy and facing a desperately uncertain future when Alice takes her under her wing. But before long, Neil experiencing all the dangers and glamorous trapping that comes with the underworld exit. Alice wants Neil to be useful weapons in her ongoing war against crime boss Billy Sullivan, gang of rival thieves. But Neil has a hidden agenda of her own and is not to be underestimated. The more she is manipulated by both sides, Alice and Billy, the more her hunger for revenge grows. As Neil embraces the rich soil of crime and speedy underbelly of London, will she manage to carve out her own path to power and riches? Might she even crown herself Queen of the Thieves? So Neil sounds like a lot of trouble, even though she's in trouble herself because of her pregnancy. But playing both sides of a rival gang, I don't think that sounds like a good idea. Like, who's watching out for you if you have to watch out for both of them if both of them find out that you're playing both sides? Book number 5 is called Hellbent. It's a fantasy. This is a repeat author. This book is by Leigh Bordeaux. The quick take is, in this epic follow-up to Ninth House, Alex Stern thinks one can just casually go to hell and bring friends back. So, there's another book before this, so if you haven't read Ninth House, I would read that first before you read this. So the good to know, it's 400 pages. It's 400 plus pages. It's second in a series, academic, and it's unsettling. So there might be a content warning for this. If it's unsettling, I'll let you know. Well, you can find Ninth House on Book of the Month. So if you really want this book and you haven't read Ninth House, you can choose Hellbent as your choice, and then choose Ninth House as your add-on book. So we'll just read the synopsis here. So the title just intrigues me itself because I'm like, what happened? So let's find it. Finding a gateway to the underworld. Steal a soul out of hell. A simple plan, except people who make this particular journey rarely ever come back. Okay, while we over here stealing souls, now I'm just gonna have to read the other book just so I can read this to find out why people think it's a good idea to steal souls. Like, is there some kind of revenge plot going on that I don't know about? Y'all, I'm very intrigued. So I'm just gonna have to pick up this other book later because I need to know what was the thought process behind stealing souls. Alrighty. But Galaxy, Alex Stern, determined to break Darlington out of purgatory, even if it cost her a future at Lethal and at Yale. All I can say is, but why? Because I'm still stuck on why we stealing souls. Forbidden for attempting a rescue, Alex and Drawl cannot call on the Ninth House for help. So they assemble a team of dubious allies to save the Gentlemen of Lethal. Together they will have to navigate a maze of arcane tech and bizarre artifacts to uncover the society's most closely guarded secrets and break every rule doing it. But when faculty members begin to die off, Alex knows these aren't just accidents. Something deadly is at work in New Haven. If she's going to survive, she'll have to reckon with the monsters of her past and a darkness built into the university very wall. Just what started all of this? There's too many questions for me. Like, how did you get interested in stealing souls? What happened to you to make you want to steal souls? And was the Ninth House your fraternity? And when you came to them with this idea, they was like, no way, no how. Keep it moving. So many questions. Yeah, but I'm going to have to go read Ninth House. I'm going to have to pick up that book at some point and then come back and get this book. Because I got so many questions right now. Book number 6 is a romance called The Reunion. It is by Kayla Olson. This was my add-on choice for Book of the Month. This book reminds me of The Sunset, The Beach, and like I said, romance books are my favorite to read, so I could not resist. The quick take, they might not have gotten a Hollywood ending the first time around, but a revised show might just give love a fighting chance. This is a light read, movie-ish, millennial, and second chance romance. Ooh, who's not down for second chance romance? We've seen a lot of second chance romances in 2022, especially with Jennifer and Ben Affleck, so I'm down for second chance romance. The synopsis: Liv Latimer grew up on television, so we getting Disney vibes, Liv and Maddie, if you know what that is. Or we talking about Sister T and Tamara, or we talking about Mayim Bialik growing up on TV and being on Blossom, then going to school, being a neuroscientist, or are we talking about Raven Simone, who grew up on TV forever? It's already giving me that kind of vibe. So the synopsis says, Liv Latimer grew up on TV as a star of the popular teen drama Girl on the Verge. Interesting title for a TV show. Liv spent her adolescence on the screen trying to be as picture perfect as her character in real life, but after her father's death and the betrayal of her on-screen love interest and off-screen best friend Ransom Joel, Liv wanted nothing more than to retreat, living a mostly normal life outside of a few indie film roles. But now, 20 years later, after the show's premiere, the cast is invited back for a reunion special financed by a major streaming service. So this is giving me like, there's a new show on Hulu called Reboot, and it's about the ups and downs of rebooting another TV show. That's what this book is giving me. That sort of vibe. So maybe it was picked up by somebody big and they couldn't turn down the opportunity. Liv is happy to be back on set, especially once she discovers Ransom has only improved with age, and their chemistry is certainly still intact. They quickly fall into their old rhythms, rediscovering what has drawn them to each other decades before, but when new rivals among the cast emerge and the spectators of the reboot shattering their chutes, Liv's questioned whether returning to her past is what she needs to finally get her happy ending. So I wonder what broke them up in the first place. How was she betrayed by Ransom? Like, did Ransom cheat on her with her best friend or somebody she was close to? Or did she change because her dad passed away and he didn't recognize Liv's personality anymore? It could be a number one thing, but I am intrigued by the second chance romance. But our last book is called Independence. It's a historical fiction, and it is by Charity Banji Divercon. I know I totally messed up that name, so I do apologize. I like the green in the book cover. I wonder, who are these three people? Are they walking towards the sun because they got a happy ending? That sort of thing. The quick take. This reviving partition story captures the tumultuous moment when a nation and a family are torn irreparably apart. I wonder what tore the family apart. The good to know is this book is emotional. There's some sort of forbidden love going on. There's a war going on, and there are siblings. Based off the quick take, it takes place in 1947, partition of India. So we have two books that are based in India this month. There's a well-respected doctor involved. Okay, the synopsis says, India, 1947, rural village in Bengal lives three sisters, daughters of a well-respected doctor. Priya, intelligent and idealistic, resolves to follow in her father's footsteps and becomes a doctor, though society frowns on it. I wonder if society frowns on her following in her father's footsteps because she's a woman. Deepa, the beauty, determined to make a marriage that will bring her family joy and status. I wonder if her marriage is arranged Or is this a guy she chose? Or is she up for some sort of arranged marriage? Jamie, devout with sharp eyes and a talent wilt maker with deep passions than she revealed. I don't know what to make about her. I wonder what kind of passions is she hiding more than anything. There is a home of love and safety, a refugees from violent events taking shape in the nation. Then their father is killed during a riot, and even their neighbors turn against them, bringing the events of their countries close to home. As Priya is determined to pursue her career goals, Deepa falls in love with a Muslim, causing her to break with her family. So it wasn't an arranged marriage. She fell in love with somebody that wasn't the same religion as her. Interesting. And Jamie attempts to hold her family together, even as she secretly longs for her sister's fiance. No. Wait a minute. You in love with your sister's fiance? I want to know, did the sister fiance know that the other sister is in love with him? And have they been creeping is my question. When the partition of India is officially decided, a drastic and dangerous change is in the air. India is now for Honduras and Pakistan, and for Muslims. The sisters find themselves separated from one another, each on different paths. They fear for what will happen to not just them, but each other. Interesting. I have a lot of questions about this book, especially about the sister being in love with the other sister's fiance. Do the fiance know, and has he been creeping with the other sister? And what's the deal with Honduras and Pakistan and the Muslim situation? So I think Book of the Month did a good job with all of the choices for January. Out of the 7 books, I want to read 5 of them. The only one that might not intrigue me as much, and I'll probably still end up reading, is The Queens of Thieves. It was intriguing because of the jewelry heist, so I would say I would probably read all of these. But for now, I picked up both the romances. So let me know what you guys would choose, and if you are a part of Book of the Month, let me know what book did you choose. And if you want to sign up for Book of the Month, I do have a referral link with Book of the Month that allows you to get your first month book for Book of the Month for $9.99. The only thing I get from this referral link is that I get to pick out a book from Book of the Month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now.